Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both. General, what are you going to do when you retire?
I have no idea right now,
Okay.
Senator, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I would hire you, but we don't have any money up here. So, sorry about that. Syria, do both of you agree or disagree with the statement that we should be arming at least a portion of the rebels in Syria to bring this thing to an end sooner rather than later?
Senator, if we as the military, I do not believe that I have the situational awareness to do it. If given the mission, could I do it? Absolutely.
Sir, we could absolutely do it, but again, I think it's, as General Mattis has mentioned a couple of times, very confusing situation, and I'm not sure we're in a position to do that right now.
Okay, so are you against arming the rebels, or you just don't have enough information?
In my case, Senator, they are being armed right now by a nation.
But not by us.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, do you have enough information to give us advice as to whether or not we should, as Americans, arm a portion of the rebels?
It's a policy decision, sir. I think that if we know who the weapons are going to, it's certainly an option that would complicate Assad's stay in power.
Okay. Iran. Do you believe that 2013 is a year of reckoning when it comes to Iran?
Senator, every year I seem to have a year of reckoning. So, again, I'm paid to be a sentinel for this country. So I consider 2013 a year of reckoning.
Okay, now when it comes to Iran, you said that the sanctions you believe were not working in their ultimate goal of deterring them from acquiring a nuclear capability. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir. Their nuclear industry continues.
Now, what is the likelihood that they would work in the future, in your view?
I believe this regime, knowing it can't win the affections of its own people, I think they are very concerned that the economic sanctions could turn the people against them, in which case I think they'd cost benefit. They could be willing to give up even the nuclear effort to stay in power.
Do you think that's the most likely scenario if we continue sanctions?
I think we have to continue sanctions, but have other options ready.
Do you believe that the Israelis would attack Iran if they believed they had reached a critical point in terms of nuclear capability?
The Israelis have said so, Senator. I take them at their word.
If they did attack Iran, would they need our help militarily?
They could conduct a strike without our help.
Would it be in our interest to help them, in your view?
That would depend on what the objective of the strike is. Is it to stop them? Is it to delay them? Is it how long do you want to delay them? Is there a broader effort?
If we had to use military force against the Iranian nuclear program, would you recommend a limited strike, or should we go after their Navy, their Air Force, and the Revolutionary Guard?
Senator, I think that is advice that I owe confidentiality to the President on, but I could meet you separately and answer that question fully.
If the Iranians develop a nuclear capability, how certain are you that other nations in the region would acquire an equal capability?
At least one other nation has told me they would do that at a leadership level. They have assured me they would not stay without a nuclear weapon if Iran armed.
Was that a Sunni Arab state?
Yes, sir.
So likelihood of Sunni Arab states acquiring nuclear capability to counter the Shia Persians is great. Would you not agree with that?
I agree, and also other non-Sunni Arab states in the general region.
Okay, let's talk about the budget. Admiral McRaven, you say that your budget is being reduced by 23% when you look at the CR as well as sequestration. Over a 10-year window, if sequestration is fully implemented, what does it do to your command?
Sir, over a 10-year window, it'll cut us by about $10 billion. So it's, I mean, sequestration right now, sequestration alone is $900 million, so, you know, thereabouts over a 10-year period.
What does that mean to your ability to help defend this nation?
So sequestration alone then is about a 10% cut to my budget. So, you know, I could get into eaches, but essentially you think about a 10% reduction in readiness and in capability.
Would we have a hollow force if we implemented sequestration?
Sir, I think I can manage, I'm confident I can manage the special operations community so that we would not have a hollow special operations force as a result of sequestration alone.
Okay. What about you, General Mattis? What about the Marine Corps?
Well, I can't speak for the Marine Corps. I'm a little outside it right now, sir, since I run Central Command. I can tell you with sequestration, bottom line, we will do less with the military in the future. Our goal is to not do it less well. In other words, keep the sense of purpose, keep them at the top of their game with training and good equipment. It would be a smaller force. We would do less with it.
Well, when people like myself go around the country and say that if you implement sequestration the way it's designed, where 2/3 of the budget's not affected, only 1/3, and 50% of that, of what's left comes out of DOD on top of what we've done, and personnel is exempt, that we would be doing great damage to our national security. Am I overstating that?
No, sir, you are not overstating that, and I would, if I can, kind of continue on with the soft side of this, because what is unappreciated sometimes is while I will take about $900 million a year in cuts, I get a lot of my support from the services. So the service cuts that they take compound the problem of special operations support. So to clarify my earlier comments, I can manage the special operations force, those that are badge special operations officers and NCOs. But I get a tremendous amount of my support from the various services, and that will absolutely affect the special operations capability of this nation.
Am I correct in my statements to my fellow constituents that my constituents back home, my colleagues, that sequestration would do a lot of damage to our military? General Mattis?
Yes, sir, it would.
And maybe we'll have a second round very quickly. At the end of the 10-year sequestration, we'll be at 2.41% of GDP in terms of military spending. In 1940, we're at 1.6. On 9/11, we're at 3. I just want the committee to understand we'll be at an incredibly low number. And in 1962, 49% of spending was on the military, 30% on entitlements. Today, 61.9% of the federal budget spent on entitlements, 18.7% on the military. If we don't deal with entitlements, we're just going to become grease, and I think that's the challenge of the Congress. So I have a couple other questions, but I'll wait for a second round if that's possible.